Hello everybody and welcome, I am Burger Boom, and first and foremost, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. If there is a low droning in the background, it's because I have to have a fan running because this room would be a million degrees otherwise. And today, we're going to take a trip from Hoenn to Kanto with our new pal Tropius. Tropius is a single stage, most likely completely forgotten about and abandoned Pokemon from Gen 3 by Game Freak. For me, this was a really cool and unique Pokemon with an interesting typing. Grass Flying gives us a 4 times weakness to Ice and a decent amount of other weaknesses, but for the most part, I still think that we'll be able to make this work. From a stat perspective, well, we've definitely used worse. The HP is good, which is going to be needed due to our poor speed stats. We're going to be taking a lot of hits. Special and physical attack are about the same, so we can take advantage of either. And we actually get a decent bit of type coverage. And honestly, this was the problem with Pokemon like Chikorita. It was the lack of move diversity with grass types, especially when you get to people like Agatha, who directly resist grass moves. Anyway, for the rival, we're going to go ahead and give him Charizard. Pidgeot will have a flying move against us. Exeggutor can put us to sleep and wail on us. Charizard will be able to Fire Blast us into oblivion, so most likely this is going to be the hardest for us to face. What I'm going to try to do with these particular runs is, obviously if I have a starter that's going to be very difficult against us, that'll probably be it, but I'm going to be trying to take a look overall at the entirety of the team, just to make it a little bit harder if I can. We have a docile nature, so that means that we're not going to be losing or gaining any type of stat gains, so that's totally fine. Now, the first rival battle goes probably like you'd think, as we use Gust to not quite half. Scratch does a little and we take it to red, then take it out. Now, the good news is, the beginning of the game is going to be a cakewalk because it's Viridian Forest. We may be weak to poison, but given the fact that we have Gust on our side, we're able to make our way through the forest at pretty good speed, and then we'll double back and fight the rival for some extra EXP. The rival first starts with Pidgey as we take it to about half, and it only hits Tackle before we finish it off with a crit. Then it's out to Charmander, and we take it to nearly half as Scratch does a little bit. It goes to red, and then it goes down to win us a pretty simple battle, and learning Razor Leaf at the end of it, which is perfect given who our first two gym leaders are going to be. Brock starts off with Geodude, and we open up with Razor Leaf, taking it down in one shot. Onix is out next, and it does use Bind, but it also goes down to a one-shot as well. Honestly, that's about as well as I could have hoped that first gym battle was going to go, because I've literally only used this Pokemon once. Now, along the way to Cerulean, it's at this time I'd like to remind you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Liking the video is about the only way to defeat the algorithm monster these days, but comments are always going to be appreciated as well. If you want to hang out outside of the YouTube world, we have a pretty active Discord, and if you want to see my first playthrough of Pokemon Legends Arceus, that'll be in the description below with all the other semi-important links, like, memberships and all that madness. Now that we're at Cerulean, we can either fight the rival or we can go ahead and go fight Misty. Good news is that I think in regards to Misty, we should be fine. We'll resist her water moves and should be bulky enough to tank the Swifts from Starmie as well. So we'll go ahead, pay Misty a visit, and see how things go. Staryu is first, and it starts with Harden, and we use Razor Leaf, taking it down in one go. After that, Starmie does nail us with a critical hit Swift, and we repay that as well, taking it down to win the battle and the badge. So, with the second gym battle out of the way, we can go ahead and go see how things go against the rival. Pidgeotto's first, so we do a decent bit of damage, and we do flinch it. We take it to yellow, then get Sand Attack before knocking it out. Charmander is out next, and we stomp it almost half. Ember does a good bit of damage, and we stomp it to red, managing a flinch and knocking it out. From there, it's Abra, and it can't do anything, so it's also a pretty easy knockout. Last up is Rattata, and Stomp continues to land, thankfully, taking it to a sliver before we take it down to win the battle. So, with both of the big battles here taken care of pretty handily, actually, we can go ahead and move on a little bit. We'll go ahead and clear out the route to the north and get some levels. So far, Tropius, honestly, not doing too bad. But, if you've watched these videos, it'll still be a few gyms before we at least go into a little bit of a dive into its overall performance. For now, we can go ahead, board the ship, grab any items that we need, Truthfully, I don't think that we need to worry about clearing out all of the trainers, just given how well we've been doing. There are going to be harder gyms still yet to come, but truthfully, I don't think we're going to find that with Lieutenant Surge. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we'll go ahead, take a look, see how things go with the rival on the ship first, because who knows? Maybe I'm going to end up having to grind against him. I don't know yet. The rival opens with Pidgeotto, and we open with Stomp, taking it to right about half. Gus connects for decent enough damage, and then we take it down. Next out is Charmeleon, and we use Stomp and flinch it, then take it to almost red. Ember hits for solid damage, but we do take it down. From there, it's out to Raticate, and we swap to Razor Leaf, taking it to yellow as it thankfully misses Hyper Fang, and then we take it down with Gust. Finally, you have Kadabra, and it uses Disable on our Gust, but we'd actually swap to Stomp, which does connect, and takes it down. Alright, we'll go ahead, we'll go fight Surge, and then during our travel, we'll go ahead and talk a bit while we travel. With Surge, he starts off with Voltorb, and it uses Screech as we use Gust for not much damage. Another Screech connects, and we use Stomp to take it to yellow as Surge heals. Stomp takes it to almost half, and it uses Sonic Boom before we take it down. Pikachu is next, and we risk the static proc and take it down with a single Stomp. Raichu is last, and it begins using Double Team, taking it to yellow with a critical hit. Shockwave connects for decent enough damage as we miss. Quick Attack does take us to 30, and then we take it down to win the battle and the badge. So with that done and out of the way, we can go ahead, head through the Dark Cave, and we have a few battles left from there before we go ahead and fully review what we think of Tropius so far. In the meantime, I did want to say, even though you're probably watching right now and are already well aware, this video is going to be a day late. I had to resub to the editing program that I use, but I needed to wait until I got paid because the annual program's a lot more expensive than the monthly program, so thanks, Late Night Candy. So first off, my apologies there. Second of all, I hope it was worth the wait. With the kiddo not having school, Fridays may be the new day that we do things for a little bit, just because it's not that it gives me an extra day, but if I'm off 2 days during the week because I have to work the weekend, then I can actually sit down and focus on those 2 days. It makes sense in my head. We've had some videos, honestly, that aren't doing super well with the algorithm, which is kind of frustrating, but we're not going to be stopping anytime soon. I know that this isn't going to be an immediate career path, and it may never become one, so I'm just doing it for fun, and honestly, I've made some amazing friends doing it. For now, though, we do have plenty of battles to go through. I can cover more of summer plans at the tail end of the video if you're interested. And as always, on a side note, I do write this script as I go along, so I do not know how it's going to end yet, if I'm being honest. Now, normally entering this town is great because it ends up opening a few different moves for us that we could use, but in this instance, we actually don't get anything to be able to bulk up more. For the most part, Razor Leaf is probably going to be our best move for the majority of the game, since I really don't want to use a 2-turn move like Solar Beam. I know that Sunny Day is technically an option, but then you also have to be able to bank on when Sunny Day is going to end, and if you don't do it on the right turn, you could get stuck into a Solar Beam spam. I don't know, that's just me. But what we'll go ahead and do is see how we do against Erica, now that we have a new flying move on our side. Erica first sends out Victory Bell, and we open with Aerial Ace, taking it to red as we get hit with Stun Spore. Great. After that, Erica heals, and we take it back to red. Next turn, we get hit pretty hard with Acid, but we do take it out. And then after that, it's out to Vileplume, who hits with Acid and lowers our defense as we take it to yellow. Then, the next Acid gets an immediate crit that absolutely takes us out. Next attempt basically goes the exact same, except this time, we don't get the defense drop with Acid or a critical hit dealt against us, so we can take Vileplume down after a full para. With 23 HP and a Dream, Tangela comes out, sets up Ingrain as Aerial Ace connects, and one-shots for a second try victory. 2 more fights to go, and then we can talk about how Tropius is doing in a solo run, paired with the fact that it's not even from this particular game. Let's go fight crime! Onyx is first, and we open with Magic Leaf, taking it down in one shot. Next up is Rhyhorn, and it meets a similar fate. Kangaskhan is last, and it uses Tail Whip as we use Stomp. Mega Punch is doing pretty solid damage, and it takes us all the way to 22 HP before it misses a Mega Punch that mercifully lets us take it out. Back back to the rival. The rival starts off with Pidgeotto, and we open with Aerial Ace, taking it to yellow as it uses Sand Attack, then we knock it out. Charmeleon is next, and we continue with the move that can't miss as Ember connects before it goes down. The Scrambled Eggs hit the field, and then we can take them down just as easy as you'd expect. Body Slam is learned. As much as I like Stomp, being able to have that chance to flinch, being able to lower their speed if we paralyze can absolutely come in handy in the back half of the game. Then it's out to Kadabra, who gets to see our new move and goes down to it. And then finally it's Gyarados. We use Body Slam and Thrash does some damage, and we take it to red as Thrash does more. We miss, Thrash takes us below half, and then we take it down to win the battle. And now that we're officially halfway through the game, we can go ahead and talk about how Tropius is doing, and honestly, it's okay. I think the biggest issue that Tropius has is that as we get through this, it's the lack of stronger moves. Having access to 2 moves that can't miss, that's great. And a decent normal type move, that's definitely really good, but I'm used to being able to at least grab something from the game corner that lets us give ourselves a little bit of a boost, whether it be Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Iron Tail, something. Also, if you weren't aware and you wanted to see, I've started playing Legends Arceus for the first time on my channel. I'd never played the game, it won the poll in the Discord on which game to play, and the rest is basically history. If you want to see me play it, I'll leave it in the description below, or you can just as easily find it on my channel. But I am curious, if you've played the game, which starter did you choose? I personally went for Rowlet, and this may be a hot take, but I do not like the design on Hisuian Typhlosion. I think that it has great typing, but his derpy little face irritates me so much. But enough about that, let's go ahead and fight Koga. I do not think that this is going to go well, but you never know. Koga first starts off with Coughing, and we Body Slam it to not even half as Sludge hits for solid damage and poisons us. We Body Slam it again to take it to yellow and paralyze it and get taken all the way down to 14 HP and then go down due to the leftover poison damage. So we do try this a couple times, but unfortunately it just doesn't seem to pan out. With us being weak to the poison type, I'll be honest, this isn't really much of a surprise. But at the very least, we could still go ahead, go to Silphco, and try our hand at the rival fight. If that doesn't work, we'll fight all the trainers and grab some vitamins. I always try to grind against people that are in the game before I resort to level ups. The rare candies being used to level up is kind of a break glass in case of emergency. The rival now starts with his Pidgeot, and we use Aerial Ace to bring it to not even half, as Wing Attack does a lot. We Body Slam it to yellow, and then get taken to yellow before we take it to Sliver. Yeah, we're not winning this. Even with Pidgeot going down, you know who's next. Charizard, who is able to one-shot us. So, we go ahead and go through the entire tower, and then we'll meet back somewhere after we're done and try again. But I have a feeling that we're either going to need a couple candies or a lot of luck. Back at Koga, and we can now take his Coughing to almost half with Body Slam. Sludge still does solid damage, but with no poison, we can swap to Aerial Ace next turn and knock it out. Muck is out, and we take it to red due to a crit. Then it sets up Toxic, and Koga heals. Unfortunately, he is able to heal stall us out of a victory in the next 35 attempts. All end up with us poisoned, whether it be off Toxic or Sludge, and it's just taking us down way too quickly. After some levels and an upgrade from Body Slam to Return, I didn't want to have to do it, but here we are, and about 20 attempts in at this level, we can take down the Coughing without too much of a problem, assuming it doesn't use Self-Destruct, which they tend to do. The Muck is easy enough to take down by now as well, assuming it doesn't use Toxic. Then, it's another easy KO to the Coughing, though it does poison us, and between poison damage and just the attacks, we get whittled down to low yellow, before being able to finally KO the Weezing and take the badge. Let's head back to the tower, and we'll see if the rival fight goes any differently, because this fight brick-walled us a lot longer than I thought that it was going to. Back to the rival, and we take Pidgeot down to yellow as it hits a Wing Attack before going down. Charizard is next, and we use Return, taking it to a little under half, and it uses Scary Face before hitting with Flamethrower, burning us and taking us down. Let me try that again. Pidgeot is the same as before, as we use Return to hit it to yellow, then knock it out. Charizard, however, we hit with Return, taking it to under half as it uses Scary Face. This time, Flamethrower still connects, but without a crit or a burn, we're actually able to take it down. Execute comes out, we use Aerial Ace to take it down. Alakazam is next, and it uses Reflect as we take it to yellow with Aerial Ace. It sets up Future Sight, then it goes down. Gyarados is last, and we get hit with Dragon Rage as Magical Leaf takes it to right about half. Another Dragon Rage drops us to 16 HP, and we thankfully knock it out to narrowly win this battle. Alright, let's try our hand at Giovanni. Giovanni first sends out Nidorino, and we open a Magical Leaf to take it to not quite half, and then swap over to Aerial Ace, finishing it off. Rhyhorn is his next mon, and Magical Leaf does take it down in one go. Nidoqueen comes out, and we take it to half with Aerial Ace, though Poison Point does proc. After that, another Aerial Ace still doesn't take it out, but at least it's not doing too much damage before it goes down. Kangaskhan is the last one, and Aerial Ace does solid damage, and then it goes down not too long after. Alright, well we're here, so we might as well go ahead and see how things go against Sabrina. Kadabra is her first Pokemon, and we use Aerial Ace to KO it in one go. Venomoth comes out, and we can one-shot it. After that, Mr. Mime is her tankiest mon, and it even goes down to one shot, and then Alakazam also falls, winning us a pretty simple badge. Now I have to admit, now that we're heading towards Cinnabar Island, I have a feeling that it won't go too well. Blaine having fire types, and a somewhat tanky one at that with the Arcanine, could prove to be another roadblock. It's possible that our level will carry, but we're also talking about 2 stages of Intimidation drops to our attack, so let's see how things go. Growlithe is up first and goes down to Aerial Ace, and then Ponyta goes to yellow. Fire Blast connects for hardy damage, and then it goes down. Rapidash comes out, we take it to half as Fire Blast does solid damage, and then we take it down to get a level up. Arcanine is his last Pokemon, and we hit it with Aerial Ace for not very much damage and get knocked out by Fire Blast. Dang it. Second attempt goes about the same, getting whittled down to half with consecutive Fire Blast because it only misses if I use it. But then, we get a crit on the Arcanine to knock it out in one shot to win the battle with a simple second try. Alright, time to go to the final gym and go fight Giovanni, and I think given the typing, we're probably going to be fine. Giovanni first starts with Rhyhorn, and we use Magical Leaf, taking it down in a simple one-shot, and then the same thing happens to the other Rhyhorn as well. Nidoqueen is up next, and we take it to well below half and get paralyzed off Body Slam. Arguably better than Poisoned, if we're being honest, and then we take it down. Nidoking comes out, and it uses Thrash, taking us to yellow as well, hitting Thrash again before going down. Dugtrio comes out and hits us with a critical hit slash, then another slash before Magical Leaf takes it down to win us the battle and the final badge. Alright, we got one more rival fight before we head to the Elite Four. Pidgeot is his first out, and we use Return, taking it to around half. Wing attack hits, and then we can take it down from there. After that, it's Rhyhorn, who will likely always be a one-shot, and this time is no different. As Charizard comes out, we get hit with a hard Flamethrower as we hit it with Return, and then go down to Wing attack. Sadly, we're kind of at a wall here, and there is not much that we can do about it. At level 70, we can take Pidgeot to yellow, then knock it out, and then take out Rhyhorn. We speed tie the Charizard now and take it to about half as it uses Scary Face to guarantee the outspeed, but that is actually what lets us take it down, since it didn't attack. Aerial Ace will finish off the eggs, and then with Alakazam it misses its attack, so we can take it down as well. Then finally, you have Gyarados, the second most threatening member of the team, probably, but misses as well and goes to around half. For some reason, it decides to set up Rain Dance, goes to red, and then goes down. So on the way to the Elite Four, if you've seen the channel before, we'll go ahead and kind of discuss what we think is going to be the issue going into it all. With Lorelei, I could see things going either way, since we're both weak to each other's attacks. She has Ice Beam, we have Magical Leaf, it should be pretty even. Bruno, that's probably going to be pretty easy because we have super effective moves for the entirety of the team. Agatha, we can hit hard, and as long as we don't get put to sleep or poisoned, I think we'll be fine. Lance, I mean, the man has a Dragonite. I don't think that it'll go well, but with enough crits, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Let's go ahead, we'll go to Lorelei, see what happens, and hopefully we'll make it through the Elite Four easily enough. Lorelei first starts with Dugong, and we use Growth as it uses Safeguard. Then we can take it down with a Magical Leaf before it can attack. After that, it's out to Slowbro, and we can take it down in one shot as well. As Lapras comes out, we continue with our Onslaught and take it to Red as it uses Confuse Ray. It does land a hard-hitting Ice Beam before we thankfully take it out. After that, you have Jinx, and we snap out of our Confusion and use Return to take it down in one go. And then finally, you have Cloyster, who can't do much of anything when it involves special defense, so it too goes down to win us a pretty simple battle against someone that we usually struggle against. And now it's somebody else that I think is going to be probably pretty easy for us. Onyx is up first, so we use Magical Leaf, taking it down in one shot. No surprise there. Hitmonchan comes out, and we use Aerial Ace, taking it down. After that, Machamp is his scariest, and that's what's out next, and we take it to Red, and it misses Rock Tomb, and the Berry takes it out of healing range, so we can knock it out. You have Hitmonlee out, and it's an easy one-shot, and then we swap back to Magical Leaf for the Onyx to win another battle out of the Elite Four. Alright, now with Agatha, if she outspeeds us, she could be low-key dangerous, so let's see if we can beat her. Agatha first sends out Gengar, and we open with Aerial Ace, taking it to yellow as it double teams, which is honestly best case scenario for us as we take it down. Arbok is out, we swap to Return, not doing as much as I hoped as it uses Screech, and then we take it down. Then, next Gengar comes out, and we immediately go down to Sludge Bomb. Honestly, I should have seen it coming that we would struggle against someone in the Elite Four before we fought Lance, but truthfully, I didn't think it was going to be Agatha. While script writing, or rather while playing the game, I forgot about our poison moves, and we do try this about a dozen times, but ultimately we don't get anywhere without at least a little bit of leveling. At level 90, we have to avoid Toxic, and on this attempt, Agatha just sets up Double Team and then heals, so we can take it out. With Arbok, we hit it once, get hit with Sludge, and then get a lucky crit to knock it out. Then, with the next Gengar and the Golbat both, we're able to actually take them down in 2 shots apiece. And then finally, you have Haunter, and for whatever reason, it just uses Mean Look, so now we can take it down to finally win the battle. Alright, let's see how things go against Lance. Gyarados is first, and we use Magical Leaf to take it to half as Dragon Rage connects. We do spend a few turns trying to use Growth as it hits us with Hyper Beam, and then we can knock it out. After that, the Aerodactyl hits with Wing Attack, then goes down. Dragonite comes out, we just test damage, and it's not enough. We swap to Aerial Ace to take it to yellow as it uses Wing Attack, and then knocks us out. Let me try that again without Growth. Gyarados is still a pretty simple 2-shot, assuming that we can get a high enough roll on the damage with the attacks. Aerodactyl's a 2-shot as well, and then with Dragonite, I'm mostly just hoping that it uses Safeguard at least once. That doesn't happen, but what does happen is that Lance heals up and we get a perfectly timed crit to take it down. The first Dragonair is out, and it does paralyze us and smack us before going down, and then the next Dragonair hits us to 54 HP, and we take it down to narrowly win the battle. After a lot of attempts, like a lot of attempts. One more fight to go. Pidgeotta's up first, and we open with Return, taking it to yellow as it uses Sand Attack, so we swap to Aerial Ace and knocking it out. Rhydon is out, and we use Magical Leaf, taking it down in 1 shot. Charizard is out, and we use Aerial Ace to take it below half as it uses Slash for some reason, and the Berry heals it up a bit. We use Magical Leaf because we want to do a little bit of chip damage to avoid landing it in healing range, as Fire Blast connects, but we don't get burnt. So then we can knock it out with Aerial Ace. Alakazam is out. We use Aerial Ace for a clean 1-shot. Then you have Exeggutor, and 1 Aerial Ace does the trick. Last up, he has Gyarados, and we use Magical Leaf, taking it to about half. Dragon Rage connects, and we use Aerial Ace to take it to yellow. Then there's another heal up, which is not great. We get Dragon Rage down to 50 HP, and it seems he's out of healing range this time around because we take it down to win the battle and the run. Well, once again, I hope that y'all enjoyed this run, and sorry that it came out a little later than usual. Keeping up with YouTube, Twitch streaming, work, and the kiddo during summer is definitely difficult, but at least I can stay awake a little bit later and not have to be up at 6 a.m. unless it's my Tuesday morning shift that I work. If you aren't part of it yet, I normally don't stress this too much, but I would absolutely make sure to join the Discord if you're wanting to keep up. That's going to be the main place that I keep updated, because I'm going to be honest, I constantly forget about Twitter. I constantly forget about Blue Sky. I constantly forget about Facebook. Discord is about the only place that I am in most of the time if I am online. I'll try to update posts on my community page throughout the summer. And next week, I think what we'll do is we'll do a legendary run just to be able to keep ourselves up and running. I did talk about this before, doing kind of a legendary summer, as we'll call it, because it just takes so much time for me to do these harder runs. I can really only do that when the kiddo's in school. We'll see what happens, though. In the meantime, though, as always, if you like the video, even if you didn't like the video, hit the like and subscribe button, because it really does help me out. And until next time, everybody, peace out.